Hi friends, it's Simone. I'm here to share the next 6 pens in my 31 inks, 31 pens, 31 letters challenge for October. And I've been doing great. I am having a fabulous time in the mornings swatching my inks, inking the pens, and then just most of the time I write a snippet, and I finally found a great format on how to do that. I'm writing about how I like the ink color. I'm writing about how I like the flow out of this specific pen, and then I am writing about how I like the pen. And then after I'm all done for the day, I sit down and write a postcard to a friend and send that out the next day. I haven't done that for these last 2 pens. This is today and this is yesterday. Today is October 9th, 2024. You will be seeing this if you are watching when I'm posting it a couple days later. But I just want to update you on where I am at this moment, because that makes it much easier for me to talk about. The 6 pens that I will be talking about is a Lamy Lx with a medium 14 karat gold nib, the Benu Ambrosia in brown orchid with a medium steel nib, the Waterman Carene in royal blue with an 18 karat fine nib, the Lamy 2000 in black macrolon with a medium 14 karat gold nib, the Platinum 3776 Century in burgundy with an extra fine monoline nib with 14 karat gold, and then the Pilot Custom 743 in verdigris with a 14 karat medium nib. So let's start out with the first pen and ink pairing. This is the Lamy Lx, and I'm just going to read to you what I wrote. All the like colors in the rainbow, and by like colors I mean these two are very similar. And then I also swatched Ancient Copper. You can see a slight difference in hue in the swatches, but almost zero difference in the writing. That's why I called them all the like colors in the rainbow. This ink is lovely too, and it has an amazing flow in the Lamy Lx. I'm often very hesitant to buy inks unless they are from Diamine, because I'm afraid they might not work with all the pens. As I'm currently experiencing some neck discomfort again, I notice quickly how comfortable a pen is. This is okay, but not great, which is unfortunate because it's my favorite Lamy. I just love the color of this brown. I love how it looks. This is definitely, if I had to keep only one Lamy, it would be this one. The next pen and ink pairing was the Benu Ambrosia brown orchid with a medium nib. I did not put that here. And Diamine Wonderland. Oh, I wanted to show you the swatches here. This is Colorverse Alpha Tauri. It has, I did not pull this out, but it has a similar underlying color as a Sailor 50 States Nevada. Sailor here. Oh, look at the double swatching that is going on here. Still different intensity in the ink, but they are very similar in their, what is it, basic color. But I wanted to show you I am drawn to these similar colors all the time. Diamine Ancient Copper is similar to this. This is Dominant Industry Wonder Pen's Ginger Chicken. This is the Deep Dark Orange. And I have decided for myself that once my Ancient Copper bottle is out, I will get Deep Dark Orange as a replacement for it. But they are so similar, but still the same. I wrote it down here. I'm really drawn to the consistent performance of Diamine inks. Most of them work really well for me. So if I can find a color that is similar to another one in the Diamine range, I'm more likely to purchase the Diamine ink. Then here is Diamine Wonderland. This is very bright. Wearingeul Heimdall is one that I have as a bottle that is similar, but it shades differently. The sun is just starting to rise. This is amazing. The ink is very orange, much brighter than I thought. I must have not cleaned the pen well enough, or there were blue ink drops on the paper. I like the color, but the flow in the pen is a little dry. I've had lots of flow issues in the past, so maybe it's the pen nib combination. The pen is just so fun and uncommon. That shape is odd, but I love it for that. Oh, did I talk about the rating system that I totally blatantly copied from Carene? I gave the ink a 9. I gave the flow a 10 in the Lamy Lx, and I gave the pen an 8 for specifically the comfort level. The Diamine Wonderland, I gave the ink an 8. It's okay, but it's not one that I would go out and buy a big bottle of. I have a small ink vent sample, and I'm gonna keep that most likely because it's definitely different than any of these inks. I don't have a sample of Autumn Oak anymore. I feel like Wearingeul Heimdall is a lighter version of Autumn Oak. And then this is my favorite orange, is Dominant Industry Earl Grey Tea. But you can see how much different these colors are. So I will keep this around, but not necessarily purchase a different bottle. That I can just, you know, try other orange samples if I need a color like this when this runs out. Pen ink, I gave an 8. As I said, it's okay. The flow a 7. I don't really know what's up with this. Maybe I need to widen the tines a little bit. And I gave the pen an 8. Then Sunday, October 6th, the day that I found out that Wearingeul Kyong is discontinued in the Waterman Carene Royal Blue. This color is fabulous, and I don't have any color that is like that. Yes, they are close, but they're not the same. Man, this ink is just perfect. I love that it is such a great yellow orange. It's so warm and welcoming. I really have no business getting more inks, but I might possibly need to make an exception for this one. I haven't found it anywhere online to purchase, and I heard that it's discontinued, so I might just have to love this specific sample in this specific pen until it's out. The flow from this Waterman Carene is dry, but I've had more than just this dry experience with the pen. It might need some adjustments. I think I wrote with it today, and it was better than I thought. It might need some adjustments. The pen is well balanced, but I think due to the drier writing, I'm death gripping it more than I should and need. The ink is a 10, the flow is an 8, the pen is an 8. Here is Wearingeul Kyong or Kyong. Here's Diamine Brandy Snap. The paper that I'm using here is Cosmo Air Light paper, and the colors look different on this paper than they do on others, and I feel like Diamine Brandy Snap does not benefit from this paper, because on Tomoe River paper, it's a little bit brighter and warmer. And then Diamine Sepia. So I have similar colors. These I do have in bottles to this one, but this is just standing out so much that I wish I had a bottle of this. And I have, as I said, I did not have the best experiences over these past few days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I wrote with this, as I said, today, and it feels much better. But I'm also not, my neck is good today. And then we have some ink issues here. So let's dive into the ink issue things. So Monday, October 7th, I inked the Lamy 2000 with a medium nib. There is actually a video on that nib on my channel. So if you want to see a little bit more about this, please feel free to check that out. I will link it up in the description. Not in the cards up here and in the description down below. I inked this Lamy 2000 with a medium 14 karat gold nib with Teranishi Guitar Emotional Olive. And as much as I love the name, I dislike the ink just as much. I think this ink is not the ink for me. It is just light green with some hints of swamp and weirdness. If it would be 100% weird, like Krishna Cassia Flora, it is a similar hue, but these weird chromo shading colors that come out here do not appear as boldly or at all in Emotional Olive. That's a completely different story. So unfortunately, I will be uninking the pen. The flow is great. It seems like sometimes the downstrokes struggle a bit, but I'll have to decipher this issue with a different ink. The pen is amazing. I haven't tested the medium nib much, but this feels like I finally have a nib that suits me in this pen body best. I started out with an extra fine nib in this pen. Then I upgraded to a fine nib. And even though I liked it, I think the medium nib on this pen works best with how this pen feels. I can't really... I have never made the connection between nib size and pen body and how the pen feels in my hand, but it seems to be a difference because this is really lovely and the others were just okay. So, ink is a 2, flow is 8 because of the downstroke things that I wasn't really able to figure out, and especially because this is such a light ink, I'm wondering, is it the ink or is it the pen? The flow is an 8, I just said that, and the pen is a 9. So love this. And yes, I love Cassia Flora. Just if I want to use a light ink, I would use this. I don't have one right now. I don't really need one because light inks aren't usually my jam. And now we are in, is this pen the right pen for me territory. So yesterday I inked the Platinum 3776 Century in burgundy with an extra fine monoline nib with Papier Plume moss green. And well, I don't know what to think of this ink. Maybe I just don't care for murky greens. I'm so particular about how these olive greens need to look. This is not doing it for me. The flow is okay, but I think with a nib this fine, I need a little bit more lubrication to really enjoy it. When I hold the nib weird, there is feedback that shouldn't be there. Like I felt like I stumbled over the times sometimes, and a monoline nib should be working in all different angles. So I was, what's up with this? The pen is really lovely. I like the stiff nib with a fine line. The comfort is just okay. So the ink I gave a 4, the flow a 7, and the pen an 8. This morning I did this because it was just so little left, and this is the only Zentangle that I know. So I put this here. I really loved doing that. It was awesome. The ink I gave a 4. I like it a little bit better than Emotional Olive, but not enough to, like, you know, to do anything with it. Flow I gave a 7, and the pen an 8. So, and I have been thinking about this. I wanted to show you, I don't have, this is the swatch on the coloring card, and it looks very gray here on the Cosmo Airlight paper. Sometimes with some papers, inks do that, but I just wanted to give you a different viewpoint. And when I look through my viewfinder, it doesn't appear as gray as it looks in reality here. So let's talk about this for a little while longer, because I purchased this extra fine nib regularly to be a planner pen, and I did not really like how that worked. It felt very finicky. I needed to hold it at a specific angle. Then I had the idea to have it ground to a monoline nib, and Kurt Spear from Pen Realm did that for me at the San Francisco Pen Show. Then I put platinum carbon black in it, and I realized that it was a little bit too wet for me in order to make it work, and the line was just too broad. So I decided to unink it and clean it and see how I enjoy it with colored inks. I guess I chose the wrong ink for that impression, because this, I feel like, was a complete fail. And if I compare this is also a failed platinum carbon black experiment pen, which is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim with a fine nib. My experience was completely different. Now, we have to consider that these are two completely different inks. So here I said, this is nice. I also really like the ink. The flow of the ink is wet and the lines are fine and precise. I can't believe I'm doing this again, but I'm excited. This was such a great start to the month, and I'm so glad I have this pen in my collection. This is not at all how I feel about this pen. Now, what I am thinking of doing in order to understand, is it just the ink and pen combination here that is not for me, or is this just, if I want a fine, precise line, then every time I would go and look for a pen, I would probably pick this one over this. So what I'm thinking is of uninking this and cleaning this and then inking it with Pilot Iroshizuku Momiji as well. And then seeing how I like this. And I'm actually thinking about doing this basically right now, instead of waiting for a long time, because this pen is still inked. If I have this inked with the same ink, I can actually compare it and see how I feel about the writing, and maybe deep dive a little bit more and come to a conclusion. Because then I don't, why I'm thinking about this so deeply is, why would I keep a pen that I'm not ever drawn to inking? And I mean, I can totally keep it for a little while longer and experiment. If I feel a fine nib, am I always drawn to this? Am I never going to gravitate towards this? This doesn't need to stay in my collection. I would rather this pen make someone else happy for whatever they use it, instead of it lingering in my pen case forever and not being used. So yeah, that's what I am probably going to do after I'm done filming this video and cataloging this more, which now brings me to another pen and ink pairing. And it feels like finally a success story, but it's really true. And that made me think about this. This is how I want to feel about my pen and ink pairings and my pens in general. Not like this, not like this, not even like this, the Benu Ambrosia, where I'm like, this flow is just not how I want it to be. Okay, here we go. I inked the Pilot Custom 743 in verdigris with a medium 14 karat gold nib. I'm saying this all the time. This was one of those purchases that I sent the money and I immediately regretted the impulsiveness of the purchase. And I'm glad it's proving me wrong every time I use it. I inked it with Diamine Safari. The first thought that I had was, oh, this looks very similar to Kobe number 34 Surakuen Tea Green, or also the Sailor 2024 Pen Show exclusive ink. Now on these cards it doesn't, but I need to figure out if I actually have this in here. It is a little darker for sure, but the overall effect, I don't see a writing sample here. Let me see. Custom 823. Yeah, it's darker. I think this looks a tiny bit more murky than this. This looks more true dark green. I'm gonna bring this up to the camera as well so you can see. It's very similar though, or I get the similar vibes from this ink and the writing, and basically that's all that counts, isn't it? So this ink color is fabulous, very similar to the 2024 Sailor Pen Show ink. I did swatch that in here though, so we can check that out. Did not ink it in a pen though. So let's check where that is. Here. It's in here. Yeah, this almost looks black, at least in the fine line here, and this looks more green. Ah, what? Here. Yeah, this is more olive green, and this is more blue green, but it's very, very similar in their writing and behavior. This is an ink that I would totally buy a bottle of. So let me read. Similar to the 2024 Sailor Pen Show ink or Kobe Surakuen Tea Green. So I do not need to buy a bottle of it, but I can keep it in the back of my mind and acquire the bottle even later. The flow out of this nib is phenomenal, and I could not be happier with this pen. It feels a bit wetter than my 823, and that's what makes it a great addition to the lineup collection. Ink 10, Flow 10, Pen 10. Yeah, I mean, okay, this is probably a more shading ink. I do think though, let's try this. Here is the 823 and here's the 743. Let's just see what the line width does. 2, 3. Side strokes and up strokes feel finer, or well, maybe I'm just telling myself that they're different. need a card here. I don't know. Is this all an illusion? Am I telling myself lies so I can keep both? I mean, I don't have to justify to anyone why I have two of the same nib, just in a different pen body. Nobody really cares besides me. But this is how I want to feel about all of my inks and pens. I want to love the ink. I want to be amazed by the flow. I want to feel comfortable holding the pen. I want to love the color of the pen and the way it looks. And yeah, I am very, very happy about how this project is coming along. It's something that I can look forward to every day. Ideally, I don't want it to make me spend money on more pens, more inks. That sometimes doesn't necessarily happen. What I'm thinking of doing, I think I said this previously, maybe I'll make a list of Diamine inks that I want in the future, and then maybe sometime during 2025 I'll place a big order either directly from Diamine or through Cult Pens to order all of those in one go, because as I said, I'm really, really enjoying the Diamine inks, so why shouldn't I? However, this is totally unrelated. I have decided to not purchase the Diamine 2024 Inkvent. So yeah, I'm super happy to watch other people open up those. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here today. I hope to see you again all next week with another update on how it's going. So far, I'm loving it, and I couldn't be happier to explore so many inks and so many pens in such a short amount of time. Bye!